So it is November, and it's been 3 months since my last episode. So this episode is called It's November. We're going to look back at some of the stories of the last 3 months here on Around the World Today.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello and welcome to Around the World Today. Series 4, Episode 7, or Episode 7 if you are just speaking English, or 6 if you're speaking French. Spanish is 7. Yes, anyway, so you're listening to the November 2021 episode. I haven't been here for 3 months because I've been busy living life. Actually, no, I haven't. I've been coming out of a mental breakdown of my depression and anxiety, and this has led me to become a hermit from society and from my own podcast listeners. For this, people, I am truly sorry, and I truly repent. Now, you are listening to Around the World Today, and firstly, before I go into this episode, I want to tell you about something that we're going to be doing starting this Sunday. So for the next 4 Sundays, right up until Christmas Day, we are going to have an episode at 2 p.m. It will be going out live at 2 p.m. And this episode is to coincide with a liturgical year within the church called Advent, or that octave that we're going into. Now, so many people say that Christmas is Christmas now. Even my own city had its Christmas parade. And talking about Christmas parades, to everyone around the world, it doesn't matter what religion you are, or even if you do not have a religion. I'd like you, maybe at the end of this episode, to take a couple of seconds, and I'll leave that there, to take a couple of seconds and maybe think about the people who were injured and hurt at the Christmas parade in the United States yesterday. We are going to look at that story, so I'm going to put the minute's reflection or prayer in then. Like I said, you can do both. You can do something. Reflection is a great tool in life. Even if you're non-religious, to reflect on one's life is a gift. To reflect on our relationships with people, and to be able to give time to reflect on where we're going to go and where we've come from. It's very important that we do this. But also thinking about others when we're reflecting. So after I've read the story, in a couple of seconds' time, because we've got to go through a couple of stories that have interested in me, and I've just remembered that they're on my iPad. Do you know something? Maybe I should have prepared for this episode. I am really sorry, but I just haven't spoken to you people in such a long time. And I thought, I'll give you, do one of the roundup episodes of the news. Maybe, so in the news today, what I quite find funny, because I'm actually going to look at some of my own posts on Facebook and talk about them too, because it is quite funny when you see on Facebook stuff come up, but that's for later on. But anyway, our dear friend and friend of the podcast, well, I wouldn't really call the man a friend. No, we can't use that one. Blonde bombshell, Boris Johnson. You may have listened to a song in one of our episodes. I think it was not the last one, because the last one was about Afghanistan. And please do go and listen to that episode for some history about Afghanistan. Some of the rights, some of the stuff that is going on in Afghanistan right now isn't actually being reported. We need to get this out there. Anyway, so Bumblewall Boris Johnson, I remember from the episode before, and that episode, I believe, was called It's July 2021. We played a good song called Bumblewall Boris Johnson. I was singing and dancing to it, and I enjoy it. But anyway, Boris had a shambolic day. He gave a shambolic speech to the CBI, so the Chartered Institute of Business, basically. And yeah, for a Prime Minister to start talking about Peppa Pig and his trip to a theme park that weekend in front of business leaders, as a country, when do we start admitting that we're screwed? Shouldn't we have just admitted this in 2019, when the only choice we were given was Jeremy Corbyn or Boris Johnson or that woman from the Liberal Democrats Jo Swinson? Shouldn't we just admit that, the country is screwed? Or the union? For me, this morning, what was quite funny, for people who don't understand devolution or Wales or the United Kingdom, I talk about this quite a bit. But here in the UK, there are many different forms of government, and in Wales we are the poor sister of Scotland and Northern Ireland, and also the British Overseas Territories, and the Crown dependencies all have more power than Wales has. We can't even prosecute our own criminals in our own courts. We have to share our courts or our legal system, our police, and all of this with England. The legal jurisdiction for England and Wales. Why are we and Wales? Why isn't it Wales and England? So we have to share our legal jurisdiction. Now, this morning I saw a post, and it asked, should Wales justice be devolved to Wales? Got me thinking. Well, I've always thought, yes, if we're going to have some kind of system that's workable, everything that we don't share needs to be devolved to the local administrations. So things like defence and, I would have said pandemic readiness, but hey, the Welsh government's been doing better than the United Kingdom, and and three governments have been working together when the other one has been going on a whole totally different tangent. What's led to right-wing anti-COVID vaccine hysteria just going through the roof, literally. But anyway, this is when you've got a blonde bombshell in charge. But I've lost where we are. Oh well, dearie me, let's move on. Anyway, so Boris went to give a speech to the CBI and started talking about Peppa Pig. That's where we were, and we should devolve. Yes, now I remember where we were, and I'm really sorry about this. Maybe I should have had a script. Like I said, this is an off-the-cuff episode. And yeah, so Boris had maybe I'm following Boris's lead here. I did have a dream the other week that I was being chased by Boris Johnson and the Archbishop of Canterbury, who was holding a cross and a Bible, and Boris Johnson was chasing me with a hammer. Now, for myself, I don't know if it was a nightmare, a revelation, or anything like that. But to have a dream of Boris Johnson chasing you with a hammer isn't a good thing, so I decided to go with the Archbishop of Canterbury route. Was quite worrying because, firstly, I'm Welsh, and secondly, I'm a member of the Church of Wales, not the Church of England. So, yes, but we're all Anglicans. Now, hasn't it been a strange week? So in Wisconsin, police identify a parade incident victims. At least 5 people, aged 50, 52 and 81, who were killed by a speeding vehicle that ploughed into a Christmas parade. Police also named Darnell Edward Brooks Jr., 39, as the driver of the SUV. That injured 48 people, including several young children. I really can't say that word. Police are seeking to charge him with 5 counts of intentional homicide. They added that Sunday's incident was not an act of terrorism. Mr. Brooks was reportedly fearing another disturbance. Okay, so the people who have lost their lives are Mr. Wilhelm Hospel, 81, Miss Virginia Sorensen, Ms. Liana Owen, 71, Miss Tamaka Darnand, Miss Jane Kulchak, 52. Let's take a minute to gather our thoughts, think about the families of Mr. Hospital, Miss Sorensen, Miss Owen, Miss Darnand, and Miss Kulch. They were members of a Milwaukee dancing grannies who are regular fixtures of city parades. The group was doing what they loved, performing in front of crowds, in a parade, putting smiles on faces of all ages. The group wrote in a statement on Facebook, "Those who died were extremely passionate grannies. Dozens of people remain in hospital. Police said the injuries were taken to 6 area hospitals. The injured were taken to 6 area hospitals by first responders. As well as other residents who were at this parade, 18 children were admitted after the incident. The Children's Wisconsin Pediatric Hospital told reporters on Monday. Care providers described the incident as one of the state's largest mass casualty events involving children in recent history. Pediatricians said that the children sustained serious head injuries and broken bones. The injured range in ages from 3 to 16, and including 3 sets of siblings. Medical staff said that 10 children required treatment in an intensive care unit. The Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Milwaukee said that one of its priests, multiple parishioners, and students at a local Catholic school were among the injured. So I'm not going to go into the speculation of why or what, because I don't think this is the time or the place, as it is going to be an active criminal case. But all I am going to say is that we must remember the families of these children who are going to support them through their illness, love them, and help them return back to health. We must remember the doctors, the nurses, the first responders, the dead, the families of the dead, the friends, the people traumatised by the event. All of this tragedy, or one action, one person's consequences, it can lead to so much tragedy. It is really true. Now, I didn't prepare for this episode. Boris Johnson obviously didn't prepare for today's meeting with the CBI. This is a consequence of my own actions. That maybe, just maybe, this episode won't be on par with the other episodes. Just maybe because Boris didn't take the time this morning to prepare his remarks to the CBI. That's where his premiership started to... Sorry, I can't. But possibly, maybe this is where the rebellion went. Now, we were talking about first responders, carers, nurses, doctors, who turn up to emergencies and pandemics, and they are the people who are normally running into the building when everyone else is running out. Okay, so within the United Kingdom, our lovely Prime Minister has defended his social care plan. This social care plan, that by all accounts has been hailed as the social care plan of the century, is meant to help poor people. Yeah, it doesn't. The people paying for the social care are the ones who don't need the money. Sorry, are the ones who need the money the most. The ones not paying for the social care, and like the extras and stuff like that, are the ones who don't need it, who could pay a little bit more. But I think that will have to be, But speaking at the CBI conference today, Mr. Johnson said that we are finally tackling a problem that has beleaguered this country for many years. Oh, sorry, he hyphenated many years. All right, then, let's go here, shall we? Which country is the Prime Minister talking about? Because in Wales, social care is a devolved matter, just like health. In Scotland, it's the same. And in Northern Ireland, too. In the Crown dependencies, it's the same. In the British Overseas Territories, guess what, people? It's the same. So, does he mean England? Is Boris now acting as Prime Minister or First Minister of England? If he is, I wish they clarify which role he's speaking in when they talk about a country. As a proud unionist, well, I have to say that being lobbed in with that lot, sometimes across the border and across the water can be a bit crazy, because we're not probably doing half of this stuff. What is it? I watch American news, and they always, instead of referring to it as Great Britain or even the United Kingdom, because that's what we are, they refer to it as in England today. And I'm just like, oh, what the, I was watching a couple of YouTube videos, actually, with this woman who's from America, and So Gal, really good videos, and I loved her Welsh video of the Welsh national anthem, My Hen Rad Van Hadau, and yes, I think every Welshman or any person who actually lives in Wales and attends civic events, attends sporting events, attends the train, going past the sporting event, a football event, you learn My Hen Rad Van Hadau and the words to it. Now, I don't know if you sing it, or you even understand what the words in English mean, but you learn the words. I've heard it sung by many choirs, and yes, I do like that national anthem. To me, I think the story of the United Kingdom needs to be told about the Four Nations. The Four Nations, going back to what we were originally talking about, justice, judiciary. It's funny, because we were talking about Wisconsin and the incident that happened in Wisconsin. And like I said, in America, the Wisconsin authorities will try and handle this case. However, it may become a federal case and go to a higher authority of the whole country. We'll try him rather than just the state. Now, back to Wales and our legal problems. And so in Wales, we don't have that either. We don't have our own courts. The Parliament can make its own laws. Government can implement the laws. But to break the laws, they've got to go to England and ask them to prosecute. And if it's not in the best interest of the Crown Prosecutor or the UK government, it's not going any further. But anyway, it's not really fair when you are the only one out of about 15 other nations within the United Kingdom, or with what is attached to the United Kingdom anyway, that doesn't have the autonomy to be able to have your own judiciary and to be able to have a say on how your judiciary works, how your prisons are functioning, how your courts are functioning. Are we trusted? It did take them 200 years to conquer us, but are we trusted? Are we really equal? Does it really matter? Because we have spoke about theology, and most of you know that I'm trying to discern what God's plan is for me. And a part of that is reflection. And hence why I said we'll take the minute and we'll reflect, or we'll pray, or, we'll take that moment to remember. Now, what's quite funny for me, nationhood doesn't matter. Yes, I've just said, it's not about, yay, I'm Welsh and I'm going to plant my flag and I'm going to, you must all now speak Welsh. What I'm advocating is a fairer United Kingdom, a fairer society for us. In Wales, we make our own laws now. We have our own tax purposes. We have our own education system, our own transport systems now. It's time for the judiciary to come home. It's time for Welsh judges. A And when I say Welsh judges, yes, in the England and Wales system there are Welsh judges, but they're England and Wales. It is time for a Welsh judiciary serving the crown. It is time for the Welsh Parliament to have control over what is in law for a Welsh judiciary to be able to function. And there is this one person on anything that is pro-devolution, and I've noticed him for months on anything on Wales Online, BBC, and I've started to comment because the stuff that he's pumping out just makes no sense. And then you click on his profile, like the little bit that comes up, it's like a little box on Facebook, it comes up with like a contact card. So you click on that and it says, from Liverpool, lives in Liverpool. Do you know something? If you wanted any more evidence of what I've been saying on how we are unfairly treated or hypocrisy, look no further for an Englishman living in England telling the Welsh that our government and our parliament may one add that when I was educated under English rule in the 1990s, I left primary school being unable to read and my dyslexia support was non-existent. I believe that in those days, the standard practice was to leave the child at the back of the classroom to their own devices. Hallelujah for a man named Mr. James, another one named Dudley White, or the Reverend Dudley White, and a woman named Suzanne Jones. Another lady named Mrs. Moyes, and another lady named Mrs. Hughes. And my class teacher, Mrs. Davis / Bird, or the other way round, who I somehow had as my teacher for 4 years of my last 4 years of primary school. If it wasn't for them, I would have started Bishop Gore Comprehensive School in Swansea, being unable to read at all, being unable to even spell my name. So yes, I do remember what education for us was like with disability in the 1990s. And don't say it's because it was the early 1990s. I know I didn't go to comp till 1998. And it didn't take until 2003, actually, 2000 when the school actually input computing into my day-to-day life of my education. That helped a lot. But that's new technology. Again, go back into the pandemic and the debacle of education in England, even here in Wales last year. But at least they were advocating no masks here, and there were less problems with grades in Wales than there were in England. And yeah, should we look at the fairness of student finance and student funding? You know, just because we are as part of one state or one union or country, we can be different and we don't have to all be the same. Express yourself, I believe someone said. I think it may have been National Express coaches telling you to go out and travel in the early 2000s. Express yourself, go out, you know. And this is where I believe, as a Christian, that nationhood doesn't belong. You know, these people on, should we take Armistice Day? Armistice Day to me, of recently, or Remembrance Sunday, has been hijacked by the Little English Rule Britannia lot. It's not about remembering one's dead anymore. And I have to say, this was coming up to pre-pandemic. After the pandemic, we've only had one service or Remembrance Sunday, and it was a little bit toned down this year, and last year it was very toned down. So that hasn't risen, and we don't do it here in Wales, but in England, St George's flags everywhere. However, may one remind you that no soldier has fought under the St George's banner or flag since 1707. And in fact, have all soldiers of the United Kingdom since 1707 have fought under the Union Jack. So yes, we can be proud of that flag that people have given their lives for. We can be proud of our soldiers. We can also be disarrayed and against some parts of empire. We can also be proud that we have helped find or have relationships with parts of the world that we still have today, even after we've given them their own autonomy, their own independence. We as humans, we all come from the same place and we all return to the same place. We are just passing through. We as humans show love, show hate, sometimes show anger. Sometimes we're really funny people. But we all bleed, we all cry, you say what I'm saying, do you say what I'm saying? We're all the same. Now, if we are the same, does it matter if I am Welsh? And yes, I am a proud Welshman when the rugby is playing. You can't allow the English to win all of them. And the same with the football. But when it comes to nationhood as an entity, am I, because I'm Welsh, any better than someone who's Irish, or someone who's Spanish, or someone who's French? Am I any different from them? No, I've got 2 legs, I've got 2 arms, I've got 2 eyes, I've got a mouth, I've got a nose, I speak, I live, I eat, I go to the loo, I like the sea, do you see what I mean? We as human beings are also individuals. So I can't be the same. And I can't be as proud of a British person. But I can be united with him. I can love my neighbour. I can love my enemy to a point. I can... we can be together. We can have those little things, that make us better, like the English v the Welsh, or the Welsh v the English even better. Scottish v the Irish, and then, the Six Nations. We can have this. But it's how we come together after. So one united world, where there is no common... where everything isn't dark and everything is light. And talking about darkness into light has led me on to tell you about my idea. So, the 4 episodes that are coming are set on the enclave of Advent. I'm now going to play you, just because I can,
they say this...
what Advent is.
They say this is the season of Advent. But what does that really mean? A calendar with doors, each hiding a piece of candy. Wreaths with candles, gifts, candy, trees. What Advent's really about is waiting. Advent is the purposeful season of waiting that prepares us for the coming of Christ. In fact, that's where the word Advent originates, the Latin word for coming. Advent helps us look ahead with hope for his second coming. It also helps us slow down in the materialistic hustle of the holiday season so we can share in the spiritual longing for the coming of the Messiah. This Advent season, how will you take time out of your busy holiday rush to reflect on what the birth of Jesus means to you? How will his promised return impact the way you live this season? Loving others around you. Encouraging those lacking hope. Bringing joy to the broken. Seeking peace where there is strife. Ultimately, Advent is about embracing the fact that our Savior came to earth and is with us every day. So this season, let's prepare our hearts to celebrate him. How will you prepare yours?
So, yes, you can join us every Sunday at 2 p.m. for the next 4 weeks, and one on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, a special that we always do anyway, but a little bit more religious this year, but not too religious, shall we say, even though it is a high time and I am doing this. But we're going to be looking at the topics of Advent from a secular point of view. So we are going to be talking, and you will get some prayer, so a little bit of religion, but then we're just going to talk about what it means today. So hope was mentioned, and that's actually the first topic on what we're starting with on Sunday. That hope. Now, I've said it, if you've listened to last year's Christmas episode, I've recently re-listened to it. Yes, I am looking for ideas for this Christmas, what's only 1 month and 2 days away. And my writing for that. Because at the same time, I'm also writing an assignment for university on, well, actually 2 assignments, because one is done. And I'm halfway through both of them. One on Christian doctrine and one on the practical theology, writing a reflection, hence why I'm talking about reflecting. And reflection and prayer really do go hand in hand. Prayer is a conversation with God. So that's what I'm going to tell you. And reflection is to reflect and to look back and to think also where you're going and to take a moment to breathe. I like to reflect and then pray on it, personally. What would I change? I ask for advice from God, and to do this in Advent or in Lent, because we are preparing for Christmas. You know, we will be running out to buy our presents, and we will be running out to buy our turkey and put up our Christmas tree. And yes, we are going to be eating our Advent calendars. But Advent isn't really about those chocolate doors that we're going to smash in, or those 24 bottles of Stella, or the 24 bottles of Budweiser that you're going to have. No, no, no. Advent, that little piece of chocolate, is meant to symbolise, or I think this is what the commercial people were trying for, was meant to symbolise, basically, that joy, that hope, what we're going to be talking about each week. So join me on Sunday at 2 p.m. So I've got a funny story for you from my past. When I lived in Birmingham, one of my flatmates became a Scientologist. Well, to the point that they were stalking us as his flatmates, and we had to have an intervention. It turns out that I'm able to deprogram Scientologists. Not with religion, with just plain old common sense. But I digress. I don't know why I said that. But, oh yes, because Facebook gave me a memory. And that memory came up from my time when I lived in Birmingham, and I couldn't believe it. And it just took me back to a reflective moment in my life where I remembered that I deprogrammed a friend who's no longer a Scientologist, who doesn't go there anymore. I think he's become a Buddhist. I know he's become a drag queen. We no longer talk, even though he now only lives an hour away. Oh well. So, yes, it's quite understanding, and I can see why people have problems with religion, hence why I bring up Scientology and deprogramming. There's been much talk about cults of late and cult natures. My point of view, if you're in a religious place and you do not feel safe, you're not in a godly place. You're not in a place where you should be going. And like I said, this podcast, although I do talk about religion from time to time, it's from my point of view what I believe. You're entitled to your own beliefs. If you don't like my beliefs, you've got my email. Visit our website, realtario.com. Click on Around the World Today. Click in the contact box. Send me an email. Tell me what you don't agree with. And we'll have that chat. I welcome it. I love a good debate. And I'm having one with someone named Barry. You know, as I've told you, he's from Liverpool. And he lives in Liverpool. And he dislikes the Welsh. Well, and the First Minister. We have enjoyed this episode today, and time is almost running out. Isn't that quite interesting? But
making the world a smaller place with the internet, this is Real Terrio Radio.
As I said, it's been an interesting rant and 42 minutes so far. Whoopsie-coons. And yes, you have been listening to me, Terry Davis. And thank you for tuning in to November 2021. We haven't talked about much, have we? We've only talked about 2 stories. I rambled on a bit, but it's been a great episode, hasn't it? Really. Now, yeah, you can visit our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/RealTerrio, or our Twitter. You can send us a tweet @RealTerrio, Instagram @RealTerrio, email studio@realterrio.com. Yes, and we also would like to thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a great Terence Davis Day. I don't know if that is possible, but it is weird. But thank you for tuning in, and see you soon.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.